the passions. If you like don't like it anymore or something, like you just don't have the passion,
You'll be unhappy.
you'll be really unhappy. I can assure that because myself has experiences like that, and I know the feeling is really sad, because you know that you're good at that and you have a huge potential, but the love is not there.
No, it's meaningless now to you,
Yeah.
at least.
Mhm.
Right? A lot of people applaud you for how good you are, but you're gonna be like, "Oh, it doesn't feel the same. Feeling's not mutual anymore." So,
Yeah,
don't burn out. That's
the thing.
Yeah, don't burn out. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs like me tend to kind of not, I guess, accept that burnout's a thing. So you gotta have a break, and
Take a break, entrepreneur who's watching this.
you're working hard.
How's it going?
Good. How about yourself?
Not much.
Solid. Yeah, appreciate you for having me on. I'm excited for whatever we talk about.
All right. So, Andy, before we actually get into this kind of interview, I want to ask you a really quick question about your business. Just let me know, let people know what is Takeoff. What is your business?
Yeah. So a little bit about Takeoff, better known as TKF for short. We also, so for one, we're originally a esports team that wanted to compete and also make events for anyone that's interested in gaming. And right now we're actually venturing into a lot more luxury apparel, streetwear to be exact. And alongside with that, we also provide photography services, consultancy services. So pretty much it's a conglomerate of a few different things.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, but really what we're specializing most, because it's very much lucrative, aside from the photography and consultancy fees and services, is apparel. So that's kind of about Takeoff.
Interesting. So it's a bit of everything.
Yeah.
But it started as
Esports.
Esports. Yeah.
Correct.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So how do you actually come up with the idea of starting the esports team that can make influential impact to individuals, and stuff?
Yeah. So esports is very niche, and if anything, it's a lot more popular over in the East rather than the West.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the West, it's now beginning to encroach and become something a lot more mainstream and popular amongst people.
Right.
And with that being said, I kind of already spotted this trend when I was very young.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew, being an amateur gamer who'd like to play in tournaments and whatnot, I knew that one day this was going to be huge. I was watching tournaments that were like few 100,000 people.
That's a lot.
And the money pots were probably equivalent to some even basketball games, and not baseball, but basketball games for sure. And at some points, I was able to kind of pinpoint that, listen, if this is getting this much attention in China, and even fun fact, China, when they hosted League's Worlds,
they won the championship.
Yeah, but they had a viewership that surpassed the Super Bowl that year.
Oh, yeah, you're right, because the population, basically.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's a huge feat to blow out,
Mm-hmm.
Super Bowl. But Super Bowl being very niche to the United States in general, though, not much of other places play football. But esports, yeah, and I knew that this was something very niche and that I wanted to kind of put my foot in the door very early. And I think other people that are in the industry themselves can also attest to that.
All right, interesting. Wait,
blow up and probably as huge as
Super Bowl. For sure, because in China it's already blowing up right now.
It's massive.
So
they're dumping millions.
So the thing is, whether this huge fire either come to this country or getting rampant around the world, that's the thing,
Yeah, it's now it's solely dependent on whether the companies that are in China are going to be able to have much of influence over here on the West.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. I mean, it's slowly happening, and a lot more people over here are starting to adopt the esports business model. But in my opinion, it's a little too cookie cutter. There needs to be something different done about the business models of esports.
How so?
The basic esports model is you kind of make most of your money off of sponsorships.
Mm-hmm.
That's not really sustainable in the long term if you're strictly just relying on other companies to give you money. And so I think some companies that are notable in doing kind of breaking down that barrier and that traditional business model is like 100 Thieves and Team Liquid. Team Liquid is very I know they own an application,
Hmm.
and so they're able to make their money off of an app that's, it's a lot more adoptable. Um, and the overhead cost on the app is a lot less than if you were to make like a facility, as an example. But if you're able to make money off of the application rather than you just strictly making money off of your earnings, which earnings go straight to the players, and sponsorships, as the economy gets worse, sponsorships begin to die out and money starts to dry up,
Hmm.
especially in these entertainment areas. If you have money that's flowing in that's not strictly pigeonholed in the entertainment area, you're going to be sustainable business. You're going to last for a long time. And so 100 Thieves is also looking in this route. Also, they're making their own video games, um, and they make their own clothing. Their clothing is very successful.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
you're kind of like on the similar
Hmm.
form of the function.
Right.
It's just
I started really noticing this when I was looking at 100 Thieves, and I started to spot this out. I was like, they're doing something very different. Face Clan was doing it also, but the thing about Face Clan is that Face Clan is a little too. I think Face Clan bit off more than we can chew.
Mm.
And so 100 Thieves was slowly doing this, and I think they went about it the right way. Even then, like all companies, though, they're going to take a hit no matter how the economy is. But it's about how hard you get hit and how fast you can get back up. And 100 Thieves, I think that they very much they're able to kind of culminate that alongside with um, Team Liquid and Cloud9. Very lucrative businesses. They own different things, and they're making money off of different aspects of the business. And so I wanted to, kind of embody that idea. And so, what's the best way that I know, based on my skills and people that I know? Photography, consultancy, apparel, and eventually, I want to get more into. We're trying to branch into workforce development, and so alternative trade schools.
Hmm.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So all your retails, t-shirt,
Mhm.
like all this brand, do you guys have like designer, like who's designing all this,
Yeah,
accessory?
so I have about 12 people that are part of my organization. And so I have two graphic designers. One designer, he was one of the first people that I brought aboard, and the second designer was fairly new, fairly recent. But yeah, we just collaborate with them. We tell them what we think, what we want, what's kind of the idea of the certain collections, and they're like, "All right, let me whip up a few mock-ups and get back to you real quick." It's really free reign though. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to just like bar people into certain areas and say I want this. It needs to look like this. That's not really creatively.
You're totally right.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. That doesn't mix well with creatives. And so you kind of have to give people a lot more free reign into looking into different aspects. That obviously this is their skill. That's not my skill. I'm not an
Yeah.
artist. I'm not gonna tell an artist what to do. So this is what I'm looking for a little bit, but feel free to add your little spinach on it. And they do exactly that.
No,
So
you're right, bro.
right,
The
right.
thing is, like, as a leader, you really have to make your teams feel like you're able to have your own ideas,
Right.
able to talk in whatever sense you're talking about,
Right.
and not forcing them into like a little box.
Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
the most important thing.
Hmm.
And wait, you say like there's 12 people in your team, right?
Yeah.
Like around.
Yeah.
That's actually a fair amount of people in the team as a startup.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot.
It is.
I don't recommend bringing on as many people. If anything, you should just bring on people that are have certain skills that the company can, really, really benefit of, or its necessities.
Mhm.
Basic things like finance, graphic designer, marketing, the management guy. And you obviously got your co-founders and CEOs, or if you got any board of directors. But other than that, though, if you have a very small team, the smaller it is, the better the communication line is.
Totally
And
right.
so that's
Yeah.
something that I've definitely learned. Not saying that I'm having any issues, but it's simply like, through my experience, the less amount of people, the better. Um, yeah, things happen a lot quicker.
You're right. Hmm.
Yeah.
What is the biggest trouble you ever faced in the process?
Mm, I will say probably the biggest thing that I had to face is kind of staying consistent.
Mm.
You have to wake. If you're a business owner or if you're an entrepreneur, I think every entrepreneur that's probably watching this is going to relate to this. Is like you have to live, breathe, and eat like your business. You need to. It's not. This isn't like a 9 to 5. It's never. You're never clocking out. You're always on the clock, no matter what time it is, no matter where you are, no matter what day it is. You're always working. And so entrepreneurs understand that. And when you get that, you begin to go through hardships of like mind fog, or you don't have energy today. Do I want to get out of bed today and actually work? Well, when you don't want to is when you should the most. You should get out of bed when you don't want to the most. Because when you don't want to the most, you don't know if that day is going to brew up something that you wouldn't have thought of the next day.
Mm.
You don't know when your time is, right? As a
Mhm.
business where you're going to break through. And so even when you don't want to, you should be doing it. Yeah, it's good to take a little break. I'm kind of on the intense side where it's like, even when I don't want to, I'm gonna do it.
Mhm.
But being consistent though, overall, it's something tough. It's discipline. It's not something that's easily, you can't just easily just pick up discipline and say, oh, tomorrow I'm picking up discipline and now I'm going to be a different person. No, it's repetition. It's a
Every day.
muscle. You got to do it even when you don't want to. And then as you do that, it becomes secondhand memory. And you just start to do it mindlessly without really thinking too much
I
about it.
think that thing, self-discipline, is important in everything,
Yeah.
not just like a business, for like, for a basketball player, everything,
Mhm.
athlete, whatever you're talking about. Like,
Yeah.
it's one of the most crucial thing to me,
Mhm.
for your life, this
Yeah.
self-control ability and thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like, because your business, like, more toward like digital kind of thing,
Mhm.
is online basically, right? Because game, YouTube, social media and thing.
Mhm.
So do you got like a lot of chance to have this kind of like in-person interaction with more people and thing, business?
Yeah, I guess on the photography front,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, we deal with a lot of people in the flesh, and so I think the biggest issue when you do have an online business is that you have the lack of customer interaction. But it's always good to have a good mix, because if you're a business, if you claim to be a business mogul or entrepreneur, you got to be a salesman. And so if you can't pitch, you're gonna,
You're totally right on this.
when you get in those tough situations, good luck trying to talk about your business in 5 minutes or less. So you're gonna be stumbling over your words. So you're gonna need a lot of social interactions, and I think the photography front kind of puts me in front of people um, a lot more than I intend to, which is good. Keeps me on my toes, And I meet a bunch of different people, and the gaming stuff, I can do that always. Um, but yeah, I try to engage with as many customers or people in general, like especially with the apparel too. And I try to sell it in person more often than I do online. But
Mm-hmm.
obviously, online it's a lot more scalable um, across like the country. I'm not gonna be able to go to Texas and give it to somebody,
Yeah.
flesh to flesh. But
I mean, internet's still like the entire world,
oh yeah, it's
internet.
it's no longer markets segregated by borders. It's now the world economy. So the internet's made that so.
That's apparently that's like the world right now.
Right.
But like, what do you think? How do you balance your life from your business and college? What do you think of college in this case?
I'll be frank. It's really hard for me to balance a lot of things
Mm-hmm.
because when you have so much things juggling, you tend to kind of neglect a lot of things in your life. Um, I don't always recommend business to people, because if you're really truly about it, um, some people are able to actually do it, and not neglect any aspect of their life. And so the ones that are able to do that, kudos to you. You figured it out. You cracked the code that a lot of us don't know. Um, but the ones that are embellished by their work and are just ingrained in it, um, you kind of you don't manage certain things anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't socialize as much. I don't go out as much. I don't hang out with people as much. So all I have to worry about now is just business and my school.
Do you think that actually is a good part of yourself, or do you think it's kind of like it's not like that nice only because I started my business?
Yeah, I mean, it's not fun all the time,
Mm-hmm.
I guess. But the reason why I do it though is because I'm passionate. I love it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the meaning of life is whatever you make it. And so my meaning of life is that I want to make something that's impacting more people than I could imagine and or ever meet in my life. And so, yeah, it's pretty tough juggling. Um, but school's never been really an issue for me.
Hmm.
It just happens. I don't plan on working for somebody for the rest of my life.
You're totally right. And this mindset
Yeah.
is different with most of the people who study in an institution like college, high
Yeah.
school.
No, you're when you come to college, again, you're getting taught skills that are very much applicable to a specific skill set. And somebody actually brought this up to me during a conversation that I thought was really good.
Hmm.
It's good to be a jack of all trades, but it's better when you're skilled in one specific, well, you mastered one specific skill. Because when you master a skill, it's a lot easier for you to kind of become a master, or at least outdo others in your field, or at least be considered a guru in your field. Whereas if you're a jack of all trades, you know many skills, but you're never truly a master of that specific skill that you have. And so I think the art of prospecting, being able to sell things, being able to talk, the social skill, that's definitely my skill. Something I've mastered, I think. Obviously, you can. There's always room for improvement. I'm not saying I'm like top tier, but that's kind of where my
Advantage.
yeah, that's where my advantage, I guess, natural talents is.
Hmm.
Being able to prospect and talk and sell stuff. Um, but a lot of school does not teach you that.
No.
School, that's not something that's easily teachable, right? The only way you learn about prospecting properly is through, I don't know, actually, it can be a conglomerate of different things, maybe from how you were raised to versus your demeanor and how your parents are, or how you interacted with friends growing up. It's things
Tons
that,
of factors. Mhm.
right? Like a lot of that is uncontrollable. You can't really control a lot of that stuff, and so, but it's definitely something you could study and learn to a degree. But it's not really, for some people it's very natural. But I'm a keen believer that it's not the natural born talented guy is not always better than the one that works the hardest. Because at the end of the day, when you work the hardest, you're gonna outdo the talented guy by a mile. Because the talented guy's gonna be very cocky. He's gonna be like, "Oh, I'm him.
I'm the best,
Yeah, I'm the
whatever,
best. I
Mhm.
know everything." While as a guy who's working hard, he's humble. He understands that he's not the best, but he's gonna make sure that he becomes the best one day. And through, iron's iron, and so he's gonna be doing that. While as the talented guy, he's not gonna really be thinking that. He's not humbling. He's not humble himself.
Totally right.
Right. But school though, you need it. You need it. I learned this is the number one thing that I learned about school.
Hmm.
School is the number one place to network.
I totally agree with that. Like especially college too.
Mhm.
It's just completely different level compared with high school.
Mhm.
Because in high school you thought like, okay, public school, 1,000
Mhm.
people in
Mhm.
the grade or whatever we're talking about. Like,
Mhm.
but when you get into college, okay, you realize like the 6 degree of separation, right?
Right.
This person knows this person.
Right.
He knows Barack Obama.
Exactly.
You see what I mean? Like
Yeah.
this thing can give you like an explosive connection,
Yeah.
in whatever way.
Definitely could. Yeah.
So I think you're totally right on this case.
Right.
But why do you think so what do you think people should learn in the college? Like what should they focus on?
Again, also, honestly, I think you should learn things um that you're already good at, I guess.
Hmm.
I think that's the best thing. I know that, let's say if you're a violinist when you're a child and you're really good, and so good to the point where like you're able to just play by ear. Um, you're in that-
Perfect pitch.
yeah, perfect pitch. You got that. I would recommend you to not put that down and to keep doing that, because you're more likely to become a master in that area. It's your natural talent, but you need to be humble and understand that you're not the best right now. Somebody's better than you, but you're natural at it. So what you should do is what? Work as hard as the guy who's not a natural at it. If you're a natural, you're talented, and you work as hard as the guy who's not a natural, you're unbeatable. You will be the pinnacle in whatever area it may be. If you're a natural at coding, computer science, but it's just I'm a little more interested in this area. Of course, yeah. Do learn other things. Of course, expand your horizons. But I'm just simply saying, if you were to work hard in something that you're really good at, you're gonna be unbeatable.
There's tons of that case in real life. You know, think
Yeah.
about LeBron James,
Right.
right? Think about like I don't think either Michael or like
Right.
Kobe is like
Right.
huge like talent, but like LeBron definitely is like
He's probably super talented as a kid, and he was able to identify that. And so what did he do? He ended up working hard.
oh, and bro is unbiddable right now for
Right.
sure.
And he's at the top of the game. He is the NBA right now.
Right now he is. Well, we just top one
Yeah.
score.
Yeah.
The thing is, think about like computer science. We got like either Mark Zuckerberg or people like that kind of, you know, Bill Gates, whatever you're talking about. Like those are like people who already are like extremely wise.
Yeah.
But they put huge tons of work.
Oh yeah, and they don't put it down. They know they're good at it, and two, they're very passionate about it. And I think that's where a lot of the issue comes in. You might be passionate about something, but sometimes it just fades. And I think they were able to maintain their passion for what they love, or what they're interested in, because they didn't let any outside occurrences to kind of involve or deplete their passion for that thing. And so I think the way I envision passion is like a little fire, campfire. You got to make sure that you're covering it. You're making sure no rain is hitting your little bonfire. You got to make sure it's
That's a really vivid example.
That's your passion, you know. And a lot of things will disrupt that bonfire, and you got to do everything in your power to make sure you're maintaining the flame.
You're right.
Yeah.
Because the fading the passions, if you like don't like it anymore or something, like you just don't have the passion,
you'll be unhappy.
You'll be really unhappy. You know, I can assure that because myself has experiences like that, you know, and I know the feeling is really sad, you know, because you know that you're good at that and you have a huge potential, but the love is not there.
No. It's meaningless now to you, at least. Right? A lot of people applaud you for how good you are, but you're gonna be like, it doesn't feel the same. Feeling's not mutual anymore. So, yeah. Don't burn out. That's
the thing.
Yeah, don't burn out. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs like me tend to kind of not, I guess, accept that burnout's a thing. So you gotta have a break, you know, and
take a break, entrepreneur who's watching this.
Yeah. You're working hard, you know, and that's good. 1 hour to 5 hours won't hurt you. Well, yeah, you'll be 5 hours or 1 hour behind the next guy, but just make sure when you're back, you're working as hard within those 5 hours. That's equivalent to 10 hours now, so you catch up again.
Exactly. So. Taking a 5 hours nap and then go back to work and work as hard as you can.
Yeah,
that's the thing. That's literally the thing. Take a break when you actually need it.
Yeah, don't burn out.
Exactly.
Burn your passion.
That's the core of the conversation today.
Right.
Don't burn out. Do good in your business, and that's the essence. Thank you, Andy, very much
Thank you
for this interview.